Now, coming up next on the stage, please welcome Managing Director, Communications and Media Industry Lead, Asia Pacific, Africa, Middle East and Turkey from Accenture. Please welcome Mr. Matteo Maga.
Hello everyone. Matteo, very happy to be here. Before starting the main topic of my presentation, just one minute about myself. I've been working in Middle East for the last 7-8 years, and I've been recently appointed as comms, communications and media industry lead across Asia, Africa, Middle East and Turkey. I consider this a great achievement for my professional development, of course, but I consider this also a great achievement for Accenture local practice and the Middle East as a whole. Because I think that the level of innovation and the type of work that we've been doing for our comms and media customers in Middle East over the last few years has become a flagship, a reference point for all the Africa and Asia Pacific market. So I'm a kind of an ambassador of what we've been doing in this market, and hopefully we'll be able to export more of the innovation and the intellectual property that we developed in the region all over the world. So now back to the core topic. Something new that you never heard of. I'm going to talk a little bit about the digital transformation. I think this is the most, let's say, the most repeated buzzword all over the world over the last 2-3 years. And I would like maybe to focus more on what is not digital transformation versus what is digital transformation. Because again, everybody is talking about digital and digital transformation. I think it's interesting also to say what is not. So the key point here for a telecommunication industry, as of today, all over the world, I'm not talking about any region specifically, there is a severe competition and commoditization or commoditization of the core telecommunication services. So all the major telecommunications companies are actually losing revenues on the core services, voice and data across fixed and mobile. And this generates, of course, a sort of natural reaction. Revenues are shrinking. Let's optimize our bottom line. Let's reduce costs. And so digital is many times introduced as a way to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of many operations. I don't consider this digital transformation. I consider this business as usual. So I think it's a natural reaction, it's a natural evolution of every industry, not only telecommunication, to introduce new technologies to optimize the way operations are executed. So is looking at digital as a way to reduce cost and improve efficiency the right strategy? Is this what is going to make the difference over the coming years? I don't think so. As I said, that the improvement of the bottom line is business as usual. It's nothing new, and I think we have also to be very careful in creating an excessive reduction or excessive reduction of investments, because this will, especially again for telecommunication operator, generate more and more improvement of customer experience, of quality of services. So we need to be careful not to enter into this kind of value destruction, destroying value type of funnel. On the other side, if we want to look at digital as an opportunity for growth, again, I think a telco, a carrier, has a unique opportunity to completely change the gameplay. So that's we call to trash the rule book. So the rule book says less revenues, let's optimize investments. We are saying no, let's use this opportunity to increase investments. Let's look at a different way, completely different game. We want to position the telco in terms of brand, in terms of experience, in terms of value proposition on a different level. So on consumer, we see more and more, and again, I'm bringing my exposure to the Asia Pacific market especially. We see successful examples starting of telecommunication operator becoming digital lifestyle providers and digital business enabler on the B2B side. And there are a lot of incredible opportunities by merging the lifestyle providers with the business enabler providers. We mentioned before mobile payments, for example, but mobile payments are, let's say, can also be considered a commodity today, because I can pay with Apple Pay, with Android, I can pay tapping the card. What makes the difference? Number one, as a telecommunication operator, you telcos are already the largest bank in any country, because every prepaid or postpaid account is a debit or credit card per se. Telco operator can merge consumer with small medium business, so I can go in any restaurant, in any hotel, in any entertainment place. Most likely these guys are already customers of the same telco I am connected to. So we can create a very positive loop and ecosystem. And again, I don't want to look at a telco only when I have to pay my bill or recharge my credit card, but I want to look more at a telco when I connect to my friends, when I connect to my family, when I have to travel abroad, when I want to browse my memories, my pictures on a cloud, when I'm planning my entertainment. This is the kind of proposition that digital can enable for telco. And again, from a small business or a large enterprise, I want to look at a telco as the most reliable and integrated provider of security, of infrastructure, of applications. I can better connect with my employees, and the employees become part of the consumer ecosystem. So I think there are hundreds of use cases and tens of business models that can be enabled. And I believe this is what we call the real digital revolution. I think it's not about the new technologies, because again, for sure, 5G is coming, and augmented reality, virtual reality are coming. But if I look at the last 20 years, we had 3G and 4G, smartphones, big data, cloud computing. So the pace of technology coming out, it's increasing, but it's about rolling out new technologies, which is great. I think the digital revolution is how we apply new technologies in the daily life. And again, this is a big opportunity and responsibility for a telco to be the enabler of new lifestyles and new economic models for enterprises by making the best use of new technologies. So these are some examples that, again, I have been studying or supporting across my Africa and Asia Pacific role. Just a few examples of, again, how new entrants or established operators change the rule of the game by moving the brand, the value proposition to a different level. So Jio, you probably know, is the brand of Reliance in India. In 2 years from launch, because it's launched the end of 2016, it has 250 million subscribers. Of course, getting 250 million subscribers is easier in India than in UAE, but still an impressive growth year over year. The model is pretty much the model of an over-the-top. So they're hunting audience rather than customers, and then they're monetizing the audience. So they start with very aggressive plans, very cheap plans to grow the mass, but then they have a very rich set of applications to monetize this audience. And again, as you can see, the communication or the data is minimal. It's about television, cinema, music, cloud and security. This is a proposition. Also an interesting case is a new mobile virtual operator in Singapore, which is a very small and hyper-competitive market. Circle Life, they are, again, the proposition is not about cheap data connectivity, it's about lifestyle, opportunities for networking, opportunities for entertainment. And again, is in literature is one of the most successful MVNOs over the last few years. Another interesting example, but I could bring many more, is in Indonesia, where the Telkom has launched this e-commerce solution. And again, it is e-commerce. There's no big innovation there. E-commerce has been out for the last 10, 15 years probably. But Telkom has been very smart in merging their small medium business customer base with the consumer base, putting them together. This is a unique proposition. And today, again, they have $100 million in transactions and more every year. So another important point from my point of view about rolling out innovation. When you roll out innovation, either you go mainstream in a very short time frame, or it will remain a niche play. And for a telco having such a large customer base across consumer and business, the possibility of taking an innovation to mainstream is much bigger than for new entrants, because you can immediately push new things to your customer base in a very short time frame and reach the critical mass. This is what these guys did. The key business benefits, and again, because we change our value proposition, I think we also need to change a little bit the metrics. So it's not anymore only about revenues and costs, but it's about brand perception, brand value, net promoter score, customer satisfaction, and of course, market capitalization. So these are the key metrics that we want to look at. How to achieve this business improvement and this business performance? As I said, I believe that the telcos are the best positioned companies in the world to quickly achieve these business benefits. And these are the 5 key reasons, in my point of view. Number 1, the brand. Still, as of today, the telcos brands are the most popular, the most recognized, the highest valued at country level. Second is the physical presence, so the possibility to link the physical with the digital experience, or how we call it phygital experience, is something that typical over-the-top players cannot afford. So the typical over-the-top has one single solution across the world, very little physical presence in every single country. For a telco operator, it's completely different. So every country has a very specific proposition, shops, customer care, sales manager, sales force. This is a unique asset that can be leveraged. Big established consumer base and enterprise and small medium customer base. All the infrastructure and communication, and here again we see a lot of models coming up from a commercial point of view where telcos incentivize use of apps by giving unlimited data for specific applications. So we have now examples of Netflix entering into different markets, including UAE as well as India, where again Netflix make partnership with the telcos for 3 months unlimited, and all the consumption of data streaming on Netflix is included in the core plans of the telecommunication company. So again, by owning the infrastructure, the communication part, again, there are commercial advantages. On the data side, unlimited opportunities by merging the core data of communication information with over-the-top consumption. Telcos can become #1 media agencies in every specific country. And then again, of course, every year, every telco spends a significant, sizable amount of money in marketing and communication. This is here located, so it's very easy to send mass market messages all over different media. So as I said, I believe that the innovation is more about how to do things rather than what. Again, technologies come out every year at a faster and faster speed. I don't think that, again, digital transformation is about rolling out new technologies. It's more about how these new technologies are rolled out and implemented quickly. In our experience, we see two main capabilities or two main engines for innovation that are getting really popular in our clients, not only in telecommunication. One, we call it the digital factory. Digital factory is a new set of skills about agility and agile development, DevOps, prototyping, fast prototyping, and the digital factory is basically the engine that can roll out new things in a very fast way. One important skill that I forgot in the digital factory is what we call service design or design thinking. So the ability of putting ourselves in the shoes of the final users, starting from the needs or the pains of the final user and designing solutions to address this is again a key success factor. So digital factory is number one, and as I said, we are, as Accenture, we are delivering digital factories for major clients all over the world. The second capability or engine is what we call brain. So the brain is a mix of technology, big data, analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, as well as skills, as well as APIs and ability to expose this information, these insights to the rest of the world. From the brain, again, it's another engine that can continuously create new use cases, new insights, and the digital factory and the brain work together to innovate from an experience point of view, prototype it. Everything that we do in the digital factory generates data. This data go into the brain. From the data, we extract insights, and the insights go back into the digital factory. So we create a virtuous loop among the two, and we come out with, again, innovative solutions that can change the life of the consumer and the small medium business. I believe that every telco that invest in this kind of capabilities over the next 2-3 years will succeed in the market, and the 5G, the virtual reality, all the new technologies will definitely support and enrich the use cases, but without this kind of approach, it will be just a technology war on who has the fastest network. But what to do with the network is, I think, the most critical point. Thank you very much.